Greetings, Bat family. Welcome back to Holy BatCast, brought to you by real fans for real movies. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for us, Holy BatCast. You'll find us. And if you're a big fan of the show, you want to support us, you can do that on Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/Holy BatCast. As always, a big thank you to our patrons. You guys are awesome. I really do appreciate all the support. I know you don't have to do it, but the fact that you do it out of the kindness of your hearts really does mean a lot, and it just makes it so much easier for us. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We are part of the Real Fans Podcast Network. You can check out all those shows at rf4rm.com. And as always, I'm your Bat host, Andy DiGenova. You can find me on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd. It's just my name, Andy DiGenova. And we're back. It's been a few weeks, so thank you for bearing with us. But we do want to talk about Peacemaker Season 2 now that it has wrapped up. And on our last episode, when we talked Batman Hot Takes, well, we left you hanging. There were a bunch we didn't get a chance to talk about. So we're going to try and get some of those out of the way too, because you, the listeners, were kind enough to write them to us, and I felt bad for the ones that we didn't get to. So I would like to wrap those up, if at all possible. And joining me for all that fun, you know him, you love him, he's back. It's Brendan Lowe. Hey, Brendan. Good morning, good evening, depending on where.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Yeah, for me, it's good morning. My God, my eyes won't open. So I'm doing this blind. I'm just going to talk. I hope I'm pointed towards the microphone. I'm drinking my coffee. Hopefully that'll kick in any second now.
Does that mean you're going to take a shit?
Well,
is the coffee kicking in?
Yeah, well, we'll see. I meant to wake up, but could do that too. We'll see.
Yeah, it's so funny.
We're awkward edit. That's because I had to go take care of that too.
We're complete opposite ends of the spectrum. It's like it's just after 10:30 at night here, and I've had a big day, so I'm knackered, and you're just waking up. So,
but also knackered.
Oh, really, really tired.
Sorry. No, I said I am also knackered. I'm not what I meant. Anyway, yes. Well, thanks for staying up late, and
thanks for waking up early.
Yeah.
Things we do.
You know what? We're committed. We're committed to this little show talking about Batman, or in this case, Peacemaker. But yeah, it has been a couple weeks. But that's because, for those who follow all of our podcasting efforts, if you go to the Real Fans page, I've been keeping up on that for spooky season. And over the past few weeks, I've kind of had to choose because the podcasting window has been very small. And it's like, okay, do I keep the spooky episodes coming on Real Fans, or do I try to get a BatCast out? And there is a time limit on spooky season that is coming dangerously close. That makes me very sad. We're less than a week away from the big day, and that is sad but exciting. But yeah, I was like, well, I want to get these spooky episodes out, and BatCast will be back in its own due time. But I can't remember if we said this on the last one, but it's been awfully quiet in the DC world right now. Superman has come and gone. There have been little comments about the Batman Part 2 or Batman Brave and the Bold that, really don't mean much yet. So yeah, it's been strangely quiet.
It has been, and which is odd because, there's a movie coming. There's another movie that we, should be coming. It's just, very, very quiet. But, there's still quite a bit happening on the DC front. But, nothing that we've had to, urgently jump behind the mics to talk about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there seems to be right now a very big possibility that WB will be purchased. That's big, but again, there's no, we're waiting on news about that. But yeah, it seems like a lot of people are trying to acquire WB, which we anticipated might be the case when Zaslav took over. Excuse me. We thought that might be his plan all along, was to prep WB for sale, and it seems like that was the case. So it seems like Paramount's going at it hard, but so it seems like Comcast, Netflix also might be interested. We'll wait and see. I'll just put it out there. I would love if WB could remain its own studio, its own independent studio. It's really. It really sucks to see another studio swallowed up, like the way Fox was by Disney. I get that is just sort of the nature of American business, is just giant corporations swallowing up other ones. But it just feels like there should be an end to that, but doesn't seem like it. So anyway, we'll see how that goes, because yeah, that's going to have reverberations as far as what does that mean for DC and Batman and DC Studios and all that. But for now, we don't know any of that.
I'm the same as you. I'd be very sad to see it go. I hope that they buy it, but sort of just still let them do their thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, who knows? Because I don't like Fox kind of still make their own movies, but not so. I don't know. It's a bit. Yeah, I hope it's not the same as Disney and Fox. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I will say Disney has kept more of Fox intact than I expected. Because yes, you will still get movies that are under the 20th Century Studios banner, which is essentially the 20th Century Fox. So like that stuff still gets made. Obviously in a much less volume than it used to be, but
Yeah.
at least it's something. But yeah, it's still not the same. It's still now just the arm of another mega corporation, and to see that happen to WB would really suck, especially like after the year they just had. WB has had
Oh
an
yeah,
amazing year.
they really have.
And I don't know if that if that makes them more attractive for sale, and that's part of the problem, or I feel like they've had such a good year that like they don't need to be swallowed up, but maybe they don't care.
Yeah,
And
the whole
I mean
Netflix
Zaslav,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah, the Netflix thing concerns me, in the whole like, what does that mean for HBO Max?
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, yeah, that's an odd one. I don't know if they'd be able to afford it.
yeah. I guess the one thing I'll say is, the one thing I would be okay with is if HBO Max merged with some other streaming service, because it'd be one less streaming service for me to pay for.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but still.
But that's a minor thing in the grand scheme of things. So anyway, that's just sort of a wait and see thing. But yeah, I would love it if WB Zaslav, they would just say, "Hey, no, we're not for sale," but they're entertaining these offers, which means I guess they are for sale, and we just have to wait and see how it pans out. But some of the prospects seem very depressing. Some seem like they might be okay, and we just kind of have to see what happens. So anyway, that aside, not much else is going on.
No.
The new Batman novel came out, Batman Revolution.
I'm aware. I've actually got that on my Christmas list. I'm not
Much like the first one. I knew it came out because it automatically showed up in my Kindle, and I went, "Oh, good! I guess I pre-ordered that." God knows when, but yeah, I pre-ordered it, so I've got it. Now it's just a matter of getting around to reading it. But yeah, so that's exciting for the people who liked Resurrection. Now Revolution is out, and although a listener / friend sent me a I don't know if it was a tweet or something by the author.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, well, here's how it works in the grand continuity, including the comic book ones." Because again, I feel like the comic book continuity and these novel continuities do not jive, but he's still saying they do. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens when we read Revolution, if it makes more sense.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I won't be reading that one till the new year, but hopefully we don't make the listeners wait as long as we did to review the first one.
We'll see how it goes. I mean, same. I don't know when I'm going to read it, but I have it. And then yesterday, I actually went to a comic shop and I saw it in person. I saw the actual hard copy, which was
wow.
Yeah. And I was tempted for a half a second, and then I was like, no, I've got it digitally. I'm fine.
Yeah, I like to get the hardcovers.
I get it. But we're about to move again. I don't know if I haven't said this out loud, but we're about to move again. And when that happens, I'm trying to get rid of stuff so I don't have to move as much. So the last thing I need is heavy books.
If you're getting rid of any Batman stuff, swing it to Australia. I'll find a nice home for it.
Yeah. I mean, do you need a 12-foot scarecrow? Because I'm getting rid of one of those.
If I had the space,
he's real cool, but he's big.
Yeah. No, maybe pass on that one.
All right, that's fine. All right, well, let's talk about Peacemaker, and we'll see where we are as far as some hot takes. But Peacemaker Season 2 wrapped up, about 2 weeks ago. So there you go.
About that.
Yeah. Let's just pretend that was always planned, because I wanted to give people 2 weeks to catch up. You're welcome. But let's talk about it now that Season 2 has wrapped up. Peacemaker.
Well, are we going spoilers straight off the bat, or keeping it
No,
sort of
no, no.
spoiler free?
Let's start spoiler free just in case, and then we'll get to spoilers. So
Okay.
yeah, first overall thoughts minus spoilers.
Really liked it. I don't know if I liked it. This seems to be the consensus, I think. Like, I don't know if I liked it quite as much as season one, but I really liked it. I mean, it felt like a great continuation. Um, we got to spend time with those characters again who, you know, never had any right to become as beloved as they have, I don't think. Particularly given where they started. But
Yeah, yeah, that's very fair.
yeah, like, say what you will about Gunn, but he's taken this really obscure character that, a lot of people hadn't heard of. I don't think anyone really gave a shit about, and has turned him into a heavy hitter of the new DC universe. And yeah, I mean, we were watching it week for week, Jess and I, and we'd look forward to every Friday because it was Fridays here. We'd look forward to every Friday, putting Henry to bed and watching Peacemaker and having a laugh, and at the same time being shocked and blown away by some of the stuff they were doing. So I think it was a successful season. They're doing that thing of, will we get a season 3? They haven't said. Will it be, maybe not exactly a Peacemaker season 3, but a different kind of show that would carry on the story. We'll have to wait and see. But I enjoyed it. I was a thoroughly entertained.
Well, great. I will say, for 3/4 of the season, I was enjoying it more than season one.
Okay.
Yeah, I was really loving it. I was very pleasantly surprised by the season. I thought it was great. It went in a whole new direction, but I thought a really interesting and cool direction that I was
Hmm.
really into. And I thought the story they told was great. Like you said, the characters are great, and it was great spending time with them. And to your point, like, who knew I would give a shit about John Economos, right? Like, or Adebayo, right? Like, I didn't see that coming, but I love them, and I love Adrian, Vigilante. So, like, I love these characters, not to mention Peacemaker himself, and that's all the credit to Gunn for doing that. And so I thought the season was great. I just didn't think they quite stuck the landing, which I'm sure we will get to. And I feel like that has been also a pretty prevalent thought, is that they were a little let down by the end. And I agree with that, because I feel like there were some roads that were introduced that to me didn't feel like they really paid off. They just kind of died on the vine.
Yeah.
Um, but the main story I thought was really great. It was really interesting, and it was, yeah, I was fully invested. Like you said, for us it was Thursday nights. On Thursdays, me and Catherine were like, "Oh, new Peacemaker." We were excited about it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think season 2 was great. It was a really different way to go, but that's, I think, what I liked about it was it didn't just feel like a rehash of season 1, and more importantly, it really felt like it picked up the story and moved it forward from
Yes.
not only season 1 but also just the greater DCU.
Hmm.
I think the Gun maybe oversold some things as far as, oh, it's going to change the whole landscape of the DCU, and it's like, I guess, but we'll
Yes
see.
and no.
Yeah, we'll see, maybe. But that aside, I loved the ride. I thought it was great. I really had a good time. There were some really nice surprises. And yeah, like where they left it, I'm incredibly intrigued to pick it up and see where it goes next. Like you said, they said right now there are no plans for season 3, which doesn't really make sense,
No.
because there have to be plans to continue the story somewhere. And so, like you said, maybe he's just being cute, and he's like, yeah, there's no plans for Peacemaker season 3, but there are plans for Checkmate season 1, or what, something
Mm,
like that.
mm.
um yeah, sorry if that's a little bit of a spoiler, but there might be some other, they're like, he's like, yeah, it's not gonna be Peacemaker season 3, but we have to continue the story of these characters someplace, whether a new show or something else, or it just continues to be Peacemaker. But regardless, I thought it was great. And yeah, it was really unexpected in a really nice way.
Yeah. What did you think of the new cast of characters that came in?
Mostly I liked them.
Yeah.
One of them is the one where I was like, I don't know if we needed this at all, and that was Michael Rooker.
Yeah.
I don't
You
think
know
it's a
what's
spoil. I don't think it's a spoiler because he's, we know he's in season 2. But I think the whole Michael Rooker character story, what was his name, like Red Saint Cloud or something?
yeah, something like
Um,
that.
uh, yeah, I was like, okay, like I was interested when he showed up, and then it just sort of like crapped out, and I was like, why did we do that? I don't think we needed any of that.
Yeah, I mean, crapped out is kind of a pretty funny way to say it, given some of the stuff that happens with him. But like, yeah, yeah, that didn't really go anywhere, which was interesting because it felt like it was really trying to go somewhere at the start. Um, the part that I found interesting with that character is because you see a James Gunn project and you see that Michael Rooker's in it, and you're like, well, yeah, obviously, but he wasn't who was originally cast in that role.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
he
didn't know that.
didn't say. I don't know who was, but yeah, they shot and it wasn't working, and he called Gunn called Rooker as a favor to come in and take over the role, and they reshot a bunch of stuff, and yeah, it was never meant to be Rooker. So
Weird.
yeah,
Yeah, that's surprising. No, I had no idea. Didn't know about that. But
yeah,
interesting. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just assume it was Rooker, and I think that it was Rooker because Nathan Fillion was already playing Guy Gardner, so they couldn't use him for both.
what did you think of Tim Meadows' character,
Tim Meadows was my favorite
Langston
new
Furry?
character.
Yeah,
He was my favorite new character.
the
I love
bird
Tim Meadows anyway. Tim
the
Meadows
bird
is
blindness thing
yeah.
was so dumb, but God, it made me laugh.
Yeah, Tim Meadows, I think he is great anyway. I just love him. And using him here was unexpected, but he was a hoot. And I really enjoyed his character, and I'm glad that we will be seeing more of him.
Yeah, I liked the character of Sasha Bordeaux as well. I thought she was pretty cool. She was a good introduction, and again, listening to the Peacemaker podcast, I don't know if you know this, but I discovered that the actress who plays her was originally up for, or she was auditioning for, and now I'm having a complete mental blank. From Superman,
The engineer?
the engineer. Yes, thank you.
I
Um,
can see that. Yeah.
yeah, and instead she got this. So win-win for her, I guess.
Right, right.
But
No,
yeah,
yeah,
no,
I liked her too because she was another one where when she was introduced, I was like, where's this going? But at least hers went somewhere.
yeah,
and they left it in an intriguing place. So you want to see what she's going to do next.
yeah. But they're sort of the main new cast apart from like titties and whatever the other ones were. The
Yeah, Pony Boy.
Pony Boy.
And Frank Grillo,
Yes,
Rick
true.
Flag Sr. I mean, coming from both Creature Commandos and from Superman. Now this, I think Frank Grillo, he's the hardest working man in the DCU currently because
Yeah,
he's
true.
he's in everything. But if he is now the head of Argus, it makes sense. So we'll see if he shows up in Lanterns. My hunch is he will. But yeah, I really loved his inclusion as well. I thought it was a great new twist and a bit of a wild card to see what he was going to do next as far as being not entirely good, but not entirely bad, and but still being an antagonist for Peacemaker as he should be,
Well,
based
yeah,
on
it's one
everything
of
that
those
happened.
things. He's not a villain because he's running the company that's supposed to be in our best interest, but you also, given what has happened in the past, you you get where he's coming from, like you kind of feel for him a little bit.
Yeah,
He
and I mean
goes
he
about
is
things the wrong way, but you see where the motivation's coming from, and you get it.
well, he is. I would say he is less of a villain than Amanda Waller.
Yeah,
Because he does seem like he wants to do the right thing, and take away our context with Peacemaker, you understand where he's coming from. Here's the thing: Rick Flag Sr. didn't watch Peacemaker season 1.
no, he didn't.
So of course he doesn't like Peacemaker. He shouldn't like Peacemaker. And so yeah, being that extra fly in the ointment made a lot of sense, and I really enjoyed him as well. And like I said he's as big of a character this season as anyone.
hmm No, he was very good.
Anyway, I do want to speak spoilers. We're already kind of touching on them a little bit, so let's just break the seal. So we are going to speak freely about everything that happened in season 2. If you haven't seen it, just be warned. You should see it. You should watch it. It's on HBO Max. It's in its entirety, 8 episodes, and it's a heck of a ride. Really loved most of it. If you like season 1, you should like season 2. Yeah, I don't know where most people land. It seems like most people still prefer season 1. Just I think it was season 1 was a little more traditional is
Consistent?
a weird
Yeah.
word, but more of a traditional superhero story than at least season 2 was. So maybe that's it. But yeah, season 2 is still a really great story and worth your time. So check it out. We dug it. I haven't heard anyone who hasn't liked it. Again, the only negativity I've seen is people who were let down by the finale, which we will certainly talk about.
Yeah.
Well, with that said, spoilers are a-okay in 3, 2,
Nazis, huh?
1. Nazis. I hate these guys.
I did not see, that took me by surprise. I didn't see that coming.
So yeah, since you brought it up first, let me address that. So when I talked about episodes 1 and 2 with Jim a couple episodes ago, I really loved the setup of this other dimension
Mm-hmm.
where Chris can go and get everything he wants. He is a hero. He is beloved. His family is still alive. They are all living together in this house. He gets to be with the love of his life, or who he thinks is the love of his life. It's like this forbidden fruit through this door of like, you can have everything you want if you go through there, but it's not actually yours. And I thought
Mm-hmm.
that was such a great setup for the season. And I think a lot of that was explored really well. And I loved that idea.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's revealed in, I think, episode 6, that it is actually a alternate Earth where the Nazis won World War II, and so they are living in a Nazi world. And he just didn't notice. I did love that
The
Adebayo was
reveal
like,
of that was hilarious.
I just love that Adebayo was like, listen, I didn't say he wasn't dumb. um, and so I have mixed feelings. I thought that was a really great reveal, and it
Mm-hmm.
really like propelled the show into that final couple episodes, because you're like, oh shit. But I also, the downside is I thought it made the decision way too easy for Chris to do the right thing. I thought it was much more interesting is there is nothing quote unquote wrong with this dimension other than you don't belong there.
Yeah.
And that's what should have made the decision. But as soon as you make it, oh, it's an evil Nazi dimension, well, then it's really easy to be like, oh shit, we got to get out, and I'm never going back there again. So I just thought it made the moral conundrum a little too easy to solve when you reveal it's a Nazi dimension.
Yeah. Look, pardon me. I can see where you're coming with that. I hadn't thought of it. Like I probably would have liked to have spent a little bit more time there in terms of like, not in terms of like seeing what the Nazi world's like, but seeing the conflict of, the guys from our world being in that environment. But the part that I really loved was Augie in that world, because
Yeah.
he was the absolute racist piece of shit that he was in our world in season 1, and then when you see that it's a Nazi world, you're like, oh, this makes sense. No wonder he's so lovable and everything in this, because it's everything he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find out that actually no. The son seems to like the brother. What's the brother's name again?
Keith.
Keith. He seems to be more in his element there, but Augie is actually no. He's trying to fight against that, and he was a real sweetheart and purely good man, which was the exact opposite of Augie in our world. And when you see that that's actually who the character was, and then what happens to him pretty much straight away is just horrific.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because Peacemaker really did have the dad that he always wanted in that world, and he only has him for about 2 seconds, before Vigilante comes in and lays waste to him. So, That I thought that juxtaposition was actually really well done and really well written, and Robert Patrick did really well in that role too. Like, you know, you don't ever see him play someone who's really nice and lovable. So yeah, that I thought that part of the reveal and that twist was really really well done.
No, I agree with that because I really liked the switcheroo they pulled on us.
Uh
Because
huh.
leading up to that, as you know that Chris is going to be revealed, you think that Keith is the one who's going to have his back and Augie's the one to be afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
And when they switched it on us, and it's like, oh no, actually Augie is the one who's willing to hear him out, who's willing to go, okay, I understand, it wasn't your fault. Keith is the one who is like, no, I don't care. He's got to die. And that switch I thought was really effective and really now creating this other villain, for lack of a better term, of this alternate dimension Keith, who we know we haven't seen the last of, depending on where and how they continue the story.
Mm. And like even when Augie finds Economos, the way it's set up, you think he's, you know, tied him up and done all this stuff you know, to find out what's going on and kill him and everybody else, when no, he's actually just trying to find out what's going on so he can round them up and get them out of there because he knows they don't belong and he knows what's going to happen to them if they stay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I thought that
that was so well done.
it really was. I mean, I, even the reveal itself of the world, like when Harcourt is going to Argus to try and intercept Peacemaker, and she's looking out the window and she's just looking at everyone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was when I assume that's when you also were like, oh.
Yeah, and then Adebayo's just walking down the street, and the reactions she's getting, it's just like, oh crap. But,
Yeah.
you know, that was quite like that was the oh shit moment of the season, and then, you know, Gunn with his comedy and everything, and it was genuinely funny. Like the start of the next episode where they're in Argus and they start noticing all the things of like the flags have the swastika in them, and like every desk has Mein Kampf, and then,
Mhm.
you know, subtle things. Then she's like, "You didn't notice a giant fucking." Like the billboard, whatever it is, with all the Nazis and stuff on it, and it's just like, oh, I didn't see it. It's just like it was so obvious. But, you know, it was again quite well done. But just the stuff leading up to that too, like, you know, pairing Adebayo with Judo Master of all people, and them having a really sincere and beautiful moment, you know, and sort of you start to like Judo Master as well.
Yeah.
And by the end of
Yeah.
this season, you know, he was such a shit in the first season. You loved seeing them like beat the crap out of this tiny little dude. And by the end of this season, he's another one. Like, you give a shit about him.
Yeah. I thought him and Adebayo teaming up was very unexpected, but I loved it. It might have been my favorite part of that episode was the two of them playing Scrabble, or what was it? Scrabble or something.
Squabble,
Whatever.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I thought that was awesome and unexpected. I loved when she was being chased and he he drops the electricity into the swimming pool.
Yes. And says it's
Uh,
like now the most people he's killed by
yeah, the most
electricity.
people, yeah, he's killed by electricity in a swimming pool, and she's like, "Well, how many was it before?" He's like, "4."
And he doesn't say it, but he kind of alludes to his sexuality in that episode as well.
Oh well,
Like,
yeah. I mean, yeah. He says, you know, they hate if you're Buddhist or gay or pretty much anything I am.
yeah, yeah. So he does. It's not, you know, all on Front Street, but it's subtle, but it's there, and it, you know, it's
Yeah.
enough to get the point across, which was nice.
So
But
yeah,
yeah,
I should have seen that coming just because it's so obvious that James Gunn likes Judo Master because
of course he does.
just yeah, just based on the show and you know that actor whose name I don't have in front of me, but like he's been doing a lot of like these little behind the scenes reels and videos for social media that have been really fun. So it's just obvious that he's like part of the family. And so of course like he would then switch sides, become one of the good guys and join up with them.
Yeah, 100%, and I was there for it.
Yeah. I appreciated the return of Rick Flag Jr. Like I said, when the season started, I really loved that the death of Rick Flag Jr. did not go away. It was not forgotten. It was not waved away, and it was absolutely integral to the season and the story. I think that is great, because it should be. There should be repercussions. That's something that shouldn't just be forgotten. Um, and so I love that we got to see Joel Kinnaman again, both in the main universe as well as the alternate version where he's a little doofier, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah,
Um,
seeing him play comedy was actually very interesting.
Yeah, so I appreciated that. I mean, but in the little flashback that they had from where Harcourt and Flag had at
A
least one
relationship,
hookup.
yeah.
Yeah, at least one hookup. Unclear if it was one or many, but um, acknowledging Enchantress in that, which I thought was
Yeah.
actually pretty interesting. Where they're like, okay, well, there's still certain things that we're going to acknowledge about the previous universe. But yeah, I really liked that. And again, that's why it's like I can't blame Rick Flag Sr. I can't, because
Oh.
after the Suicide Squad, I was right there with him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But then, the more you think about it too, I mean, when it comes to Flag's death, who's the bad guy? Is it Peacemaker or is it Waller? You
Right.
know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Peacemaker was just following orders. In the same way, if Flag Senior told him to do something, he'd expect him to do it. So, yeah, the whole situation is quite the conundrum, for lack of a better term.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate that Chris is not let off the hook, and that's such an important part of the story where Rick
I
Flag
mean,
has his own professional motivations, but he has his personal ones too.
but I mean, that's been the arc of the whole, the whole show. Pretty much is Chris coming to terms with all the bad shit he's done, having to reconcile it, and again that moment where Augie gets killed, and then they're all wailing on his interdimensional brother. And I tell you what, Cena, from the Suicide Squad to now, like, I don't know if he's taken acting classes or what's going on, but he's a solid actor.
Yeah.
And it's like he can really bring the emotion. The way he lets out that primal scream and like just wants everyone to get off of him and get off of his brother. And he doesn't want anyone else to die. And he's just like, it's not the universes, it's not this, it's not that. I'm the problem. Like, I'm the reason all this has happened. And he's ready to accept. I mean, even when to a point when Flag arrests him and stuff, like, he kind of gets it. Well, this is my karma. He's in some ways okay with it,
Mm-hmm.
until obviously it goes where it goes. But yeah, props to Cena, because yeah, comedy, action, and just like heartfelt drama. Like, he's bringing it all. He's really, really good.
Yeah. No, he is really great. I mean, and let's talk about that, because I I really thought the season was great, and then like episode 7 was amazing, and that's when all the shit hit the fan in the alternate dimension where they are now racing to escape before they get caught or killed or something, and that really and Joe said it as well, and he took the words right out of my mouth. Is I'm like that is the true season finale, or at least that's the big action packed, epic season finale. And
Yeah,
then episode 8 is more like an epilogue of like, oh, and then here's what happens next. Or it was more of an emotional finale than it was like an action packed one. And I
yeah.
think that, we didn't know that going in. So after episode 7, it was like, oh, holy shit, what are they going to do? And I really can't wait for the finale now. And then to have the episode 8 be a much more like understated, character driven,
Mm.
dramatic episode, and with I think no action at all.
Well, yeah, Peacemaker doesn't wear the outfit in that episode. I don't think,
Yeah,
from memory. It,
I
yeah.
understand. I do understand like some of the disappointment of like, oh, huh. I guess that finale is really
Well,
weird
you
because
thought the brother was coming back. That's
yeah,
what you sort of
right.
everyone thought was going to happen.
Right. And especially because like the finale of season one was shit. It was almost like a movie with the big finale.
Yeah.
So for this, it's like, oh, it was, it was a very big like shift in pace and tone, and just, it was a lot quieter and again more character driven. So I understand people being like, oh wow, that's not what I expected from the finale, especially because like James Gunn was hyping up the finale because he always is. And he's like, oh, it's gonna change everything, it's gonna and like again, I guess, but I understand, like if you think of it as like seven is the finale and then eight is the epilogue, it's a little easier to take. But again, I can't really blame anyone for being disappointed. And I would say, a little disappointed. I love the story they told, but again, I think that where they left it, it was like there was some really great stuff. And I really loved sort of the 11th Street kids coming back together to let Chris know that not only is he not alone, but he brings a lot of good to the world too, which is the part that he doesn't believe until they
Mm.
have that. And I thought that's great. And then there's like the big happy montage of them starting checkmate. And me and Catherine both looked at each other and we're like, okay, this is way too happy. Something's about to go terribly wrong.
Mhm.
Um, and then it kind of does. And then it leaves us on that weird cliffhanger where you're like, okay, that's where you're ending. And you're saying, but we don't know. We're not doing season three. It's like, well, you're doing something because that's
Yeah.
not story. Um, so anyway, I understand like kind of leaving it on that note of people being like, wait, what? That's it? So
Yeah, honestly, the fact that it was more character driven and there wasn't a lot of action, I kind of only in the moment watching it that didn't bother. Like, and it still doesn't bother me. Like, I liked what was happening. The thing that let me down with the finale was, first of all through the season, you just hear about the boat, the boat, the boat, the boat. Did it mean anything? What happened on the boat? And you think it's going to be like, you obviously think they slept together or something, major happened. And it was kind of like they danced and kissed to a band that gives James Gunn a boner. Like, it wasn't, I didn't think it was that, huge, really. The other thing is too, like, obviously in every episode, like the music is, I'd say, a semi-important part. The songs usually always, tie into what's happening, and obviously that they're gun picks, and if you listen to the Peacemaker podcast, like, he very openly talks about it, like it's all bands that he loves and loves, like Swedish metal and stuff like that. But it's a little bit self indulgent, but to me it doesn't distract me from what's going on. It's just kind of like, to me it adds to it. Like the music always works. Um, in this one, however, particularly with the bands like on the boat and stuff, it just felt a little bit too masturbatory. For me, I found it a bit distracting. It's just like, yeah, okay, like you slot music into every episode, and that's okay. But when you start bringing the bands in themselves, I'm like, I don't know. And then the whole thing on the boat, I'm like, that's it. Like, they had a dance to a random song and then they made out for like 2 seconds. Like, okay, I guess. Like, I don't know. Just, to me, it felt like it was building up to be something much more important than it actually was.
yeah, I see that. I didn't mind that it was just a kiss instead of them hooking up, because like that almost means more. And so I appreciated that. But you're right, it did feel a little like, because of the buildup, it felt a little like, oh, okay, I guess that's it. I loved that Nelson was in it. I thought that was awesome. I like Nelson, but the fact that it was really them, that cracked me up. I immediately texted my sister, who loved Nelson more than I did back in the day. Do you know Nelson? I don't know
I
if they.
never heard of them until this
Okay,
episode.
okay. Well, James Gunn, he prides himself on celebrating bands we've never heard of. It's sort of like a hipster thing of like, I'm going to introduce you to this Swedish metal band, right? Nelson was a big deal here in the States for about 10 minutes in like the early 90s.
Okay.
So they were a thing. They had a couple hits. One really great song called After the Rain that you should check out. But I saw them at Epcot like many years ago and stuff, and I like Nelson, but I just love that it was them. And my sister loved Nelson in the '90s, and I was like, oh my god, have you watched the Peacemaker finale? And she goes, no, not yet. I'm like, okay, text me when you do. And yeah, she and I just get a text. It's like, oh my god, Nelson. So I
It's
thought
in
that was
the
hysterical.
title. Like the title of the episode is Full Nelson.
Oh, I guess you're right. I didn't even think of that. Or I didn't remember. I didn't look at the title, I guess is the actual answer, but that's fun. Anyway, regardless, I thought it was fun. And again, I thought that the conversation between all the 11th Street kids, but especially Ads and Peacemaker in the finale in the hotel, I thought was really beautiful. I really loved that. Like, again, as an emotional crescendo to the season, I thought that worked really well, of them being like, no, you've made our lives better. You are a good person. And the times that you have uh screwed up, it has always been when you're not being true to yourself. It's when you listen to someone else, like Waller or, your father. And that's when the bad things happen. When you trust your own instincts, guess what? You actually do help people. And I thought that was really great. And I love that. So yeah, like, again, I'm not even like shitting on the finale. I guess I'm just saying I understand why some people saw the finale. And because even I was like, well, huh, really? That's where they're ending it? And not that I didn't enjoy the episode. I enjoyed the episode. It didn't feel like an ending.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get where you're coming from. I mean, are we going to talk? Yeah, obviously have to talk about like how it actually ends. With
I mean, sure.
Flag
So
getting control of the portal, and his plan all along is to make it an interdimensional prison for um
metahumans or
metahumans.
supervillains.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah.
but again, like you kind of see where he's coming from, but yeah, but again, he made it too personal to put Chris in there first is beyond cruel.
Right. Yeah, I thought that was an interesting reveal. And it's Salvation, I think is it's called. Is that
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Which I guess is a comic series or a mini series that I was not familiar with. I'll admit it. So I'm interested in that. But so that was the piece of it that James Gunn said, "Oh, this is really important for the future of the DCU. Is this idea of salvation, this other dimension that they're using as a prison?" Okay, great. Curious to see where that goes next. So yes, but again, the way he talked about it, you thought it was going to be something else.
Yeah.
Um, I did appreciate though, like how much it picked up from Superman. And again, I feel like not in a way where if you didn't see Superman, you would be lost. I think that he did it in a way that if you didn't see Superman, it still all makes sense. It's fine. Um,
Agreed.
but I appreciated like the inclusion of Lex, him making the deal with Lex, and then using the equipment and the tools that Lex was using in Superman to then try to find this. I always forget the name. Quantum unfolding chamber. Is that right?
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, it's such a weird name, but and then that like Otis comes back.
Yes.
That weird nerdy guy with the glasses and the
The
bowl
mustache,
cut,
yeah.
like that weird guy. Like he came back, so I appreciated that. I thought that was really fun too. That connective tissue.
A few of the
Um,
LexCorp staff are in that sort of
right.
control room, yeah.
Yeah. I I gotta say I loved the moment when they told Economos, oh, like distract them because we're gonna find this information.
He
And
drops the C bomb.
it's so funny because it's like it's so true. You see that in movies all the time where they're like, "Oh, distract them or keep them busy," and in real life, you'd be like, "What? What do I do? What do you want me to do? How do I keep them busy?" And so he's just like, "So like yeah, it's super awkward." And I feel like I would be exactly the same way if we were randomly somewhere and you'd be like, "Hey, go keep them busy," and I'd be like, "What the hell do I do? Do a dance?" Like,
Just whip your dick out.
I guess so. So anyway, yeah, I thought that was hysterical.
Yeah. And
um,
like, yeah, you're right. Like it's so funny because obviously at this, when this all was, the gods and monsters slate and everything was announced, which typical of DC, a slate was announced, and we're not going to get, I don't reckon, half of what was what was said, and we're going to
At
get
least for now, the half we're not getting is the half I don't really care about. So
true.
that yeah.
We're going to get other things that we didn't know, we didn't plan on. I don't know if where this season ends, if that's if that was originally part of the plan, because you think that would have been part of their announcement, the whole salvation thing. But yeah, Gunn, I think, might have been talking out of sort of both sides of his mouth in that, like, you don't need to see everything for it to make sense. And so far, you you can watch Peacemaker season 2 having not watched Creature Commandos, and it makes sense. And same, like you said, with Superman, you could watch this and not watched Superman, it would make sense. But it's going to be interesting to see where it goes, because if salvation does become a big part of it, it's like, well, I can't imagine you not having to watch Peacemaker season 2 for it to at least make a little bit more sense. So yeah, I'd be curious to know how he goes about it, because at the moment things are becoming very connected.
Hmm.
Um, and it's the man. What's Man of Tomorrow dealing with?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
is that going to be part of it as well? Because that project, that's coming up very soon. Um, I can't at the moment. I can't think of another reason why Superman would have to team up with Lex. So,
Yeah. No, I think you're right. It is a very tricky needle to thread. So far, 3 projects in, it's still true, but you're right. The way things are going, it's like, how long can it be true?
mm,
That you can dip in and out as you like, and it still all works. So we shall see. I think that he did it very well with Peacemaker season 2. I thought, the connections to the Suicide Squad is explained well enough, including flashbacks and everything, that, like, even if you didn't see that movie, you get it, right? Peacemaker killed Rick Flag Senior's son. Got it. And so and even the Lex stuff, it's like, does it matter if you know who the weird dude with the mustache and the glasses is? No, it doesn't matter. All that matters is he shows up and he's Lex's, like, super smart IT guy, and that is enough. But he's got to keep that up if he's going to stick to his word. And yeah, you do wonder, like, how long can it go?
mm. Do you watch the post credit scenes when you watch the show?
Yes.
Yeah, the one with the LexCorp tech guy was a bit much.
Oh, yeah. It's
Yeah, how he's going to crank up porn because he'd been in, prison for however long, and it's like, oh, come on now, we don't need that.
yeah, but that's that's the James Gunniness where your mileage will vary.
Yeah, I can't think of much
Um
else.
Well, like, I appreciated, like, we were talking about Bordeaux and her realizing what Flag is up to and going to Harcourt and creating this partnership between the two of them. I thought was actually really cool.
A very
I
unlikely partnership, but
Yeah,
yeah, it was well done.
I dug that, and in credit to Harcourt, I thought she was great in the season.
Hmm.
I think Jennifer Holland was really excellent in the season, and oh my god, I lost my
To
train of
me,
thought. It was
to me,
something.
this is where this is the difference between like James Gunn and Rob Zombie in terms of putting your wife in projects, because Holland is actually
She's good.
she's very good. Yes,
she,
she can act.
she can act. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But you got to tell me, like, in that episode 8 where Harcourt and Chris start making out at the Nelson concert, where you got to picture James Gunn behind the camera being like, yeah,
he's
make
in the
out with
cuck.
my
He's in
wife.
the cuck chair.
Yep, make out with my wife. More.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a bit, at least a little bit weird, but I don't know. Like, they all seem very, obviously, very professional. Like,
Oh, and they're all
it is. It
buddies.
is what it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's look. You can't fault someone for loving their partner and wanting to, work with them in that sort of situation. And I think we can see both ends of the spectrum, where it works and where it doesn't. And like I said, that's the Rob Zombie of it all, and this is the James Gunn of it all. And I think Gunn does a really good job of doing that. Like, that role could have gone to anyone else, but he gave it to his wife, and it doesn't yeah, like can nepotism be a thing for your spouse? I don't know, but it just doesn't feel as hard to watch as other examples of the same thing.
Well, I think it would be different if we watched it and Harcourt sucked.
Yeah,
And then we would all be like, "Ugh, God, like, this is terrible." Because, yeah, like if she couldn't pull it off, then yeah, it would be awful. But fortunately, she can. She's great, and playing both versions of Harcourt.
yeah,
So yeah, like credit that she's good. So then it's really easy to forgive of like, you know what? Yeah, I get it. It's James Gunn's wife, but she's good in the part. So that's fine.
yeah.
Um, that's what I was going to say. Vigilante. I
With
freaking
his
love
mother.
him. He's such a dick to his mom. But like when he meets his other dimensional self, that was hysterical.
I loved his little, what would it be, like his basement in the mother's
Yes.
house, and just like
Yeah.
full of drugs and money, and like he won't do anything with the drugs because he doesn't want to, but then he won't do anything with the money because it's blood money, and to him that's just like, it makes him a bad guy for using that money. Like the other 11th Street kids are in there like, and just like filling their pockets and stuff. It
That
was
was so
really
funny.
funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as they were all grabbing handfuls. They're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, he is hysterical. I love him. I was afraid he wasn't going to make it to the end of the season, so I'm glad he did. But yeah, him playing off of himself in the alternate dimension was hysterical because he's like, "No way!" Like I love that. And they did the Spider-Man meme and him realizing like, on his own, like what is going on in this dimension. I thought that was a blast. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved that. Yeah, like his alternate dimension vigilante, like we don't know what happened to him, but like he's the one who allowed them to escape. I loved when he was like taking care of Economos who was hungover in the bathtub. That was hysterical. And then yeah, I think it was one of the post credit scene where he like took off his pants and went and washed them.
Yes.
He's like, "Where are my pants?" He's like, "Oh, I washed them for you."
He's
He's like,
got the weird, the
"Who
weird
does
crush
that?"
thing going on with Economos. But again, that's another character who originally played by somebody else. It wasn't always him. So
Which one? Vigilante or Economos?
Vigilante, no
Oh,
Vigilante, yeah.
I didn't know that either.
They'd shot most of the first season, and it was a different actor. Again, don't know who, but yeah, it was a completely different actor.
Oh wow! I don't listen to the Peacemaker podcast, obviously, so there are things like that that I just don't know about.
It's pretty good. But what's funny is it was like, I don't know, a month or so ago. I was just like googling stuff, and I'm like Vigilante. I was like doing a bit of a read up, and then I was like, oh shit, he was one of the lead villains in one of the seasons of Arrow. Like, and could not be more of an the polar opposite of the characterization in this one. Like he was
Mhm.
so deadly serious and and like full of just just like a really evil dude, and then you're seeing this version of the same character, and it's like, wow. Talk about polar
Oh yeah,
opposites.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like Vigilante, the character is I can't pretend to be an expert, but I certainly was aware of him from the comics. And yes, the Peacemaker version is very different than than what Vigilante is. But I think that's what James Gunn does is he's like, oh, like I'm gonna take this obscure DC character, and then if I do change it, no one's gonna get too mad because who really cares about vigilante or judo master, right? Of like so he's like, I can mess with the ones that are not these iconic beloved characters and have them in my show, and I think that that's part of his methods.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But yeah, he's hysterical. I love him. He's so good. I wish he'd be nicer to his mom, but maybe he'll learn that in not season 3.
Yes, agreed.
But yeah, I mean, the way it ends with like the creation of Checkmate, using Vigilante's money, the entire season about Adebayo like trying to start her own detective business and it not really going anywhere. And this
And
is a
then
way for that dream to come true.
and splitting up from the wife
That
was
was a great scene,
yeah.
honestly, of them finally making the decision to not be together because they realize that just it doesn't mean that they don't love each other. They just, their paths have diverged. I
Mhm.
think that was great. That was really well done. And I mean, Adebayo is like one of my favorite characters, and she's another one that I think just got made up for Peacemaker season 1. I think she was just invented of like, oh, Waller's daughter is going to come in and do this thing, and but man, she is so good and she's so likable, and her relationship with Chris is awesome. So yeah, I love her. I think she's
Yeah.
great.
No, I agree.
But anyway, yeah, the creation of Checkmate, that does feel like something that where Checkmate will then continue to exist in other DCU projects. It'll just be curious to see how and when.
Yeah.
My hunch is we won't have to wait long.
Yeah,
I
I don't
think
think
at the
so.
very least they will probably be in Man of Tomorrow. Because Supergirl, it seems like it's mostly off world. Maybe it doesn't matter for that, but I definitely think that they're going to be around for Man of Tomorrow.
Yeah, I would put some money on that myself.
Well, and like you said, like I also think that Salvation is going to immediately also be part of Man of Tomorrow, because you kind of have to look at like the James Gunn written projects versus the other projects like Lanterns or Supergirl, where this main through line would make sense to go from Superman to Peacemaker to Man of Tomorrow, whereas like Supergirl and Lanterns will be a little more tangentially connected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I will say I really thought Superman was going to show up.
I really didn't give it much of a thought, to be honest. Like
Well,
I thought it was awesome when Lex showed up, but
yeah.
yeah, I didn't expect it.
So here's the reason I say it. It's not because during the course of the season I was like, "Oh, Superman needs to be here for this." It was because there was a behind the scenes shot of David Corenswet in his Superman outfit with Cena as Peacemaker.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
And one of them posted it. And I was like, oh, well, I guess Superman's going to be in Peacemaker. And so I don't know when they took that picture, but because of that picture, I just assumed Superman was going to show up in the finale for some reason, or at least the return of the Justice Gang or something. So again, it was just interesting. I thought the Lex thing was great. It made all the sense. I did listen to Eric and Joe, and I guess that they thought, or other people thought, that it was going to be Harley Quinn. What?
Yeah, I hadn't heard that before.
I hadn't heard that. I was like, why would anyone think it was Harley Quinn? Like that doesn't make any sense. But I, yeah, didn't even didn't even cross my mind as a possibility. Honestly, when Lex showed up, I was like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. Like I didn't think it could be anyone else. Honestly.
No, I agree.
All right, interesting. So yeah, I just didn't know if maybe I missed some fan speculation out there where that was supposed to be the case. But yeah, it's interesting because there are certainly things that they did pick up from Superman and the greater DCU, but maybe not as much as I expected. But yeah, I think it's just damn Instagram lying to me.
Yeah, like I said, that was news to me. The Harley Quinn thing.
All right, well, there you go. There's kind of some highlights of season 2 of Peacemaker. But yeah, we'll give some closing thoughts, and it'll be interesting. I will say my biggest frustration is when it was over. I was like, well, you're just gonna leave me hanging here, really? If it was the second to last episode of the season, hell yeah, like because yeah, now I want to see how Peacemaker gets out and how the return of Keith the brother and all that stuff. But overall, that aside, not knowing when we're gonna get a resolution from that's the most frustrating thing. But other than that, I love the ride, even though there were some it was maybe a little overstuffed with things we didn't need. I think there was maybe a streamlined version, but yeah. Any additional thoughts?
Not really, no. Like I said it was a solid show. Really, really enjoyed it. I just don't think it quite, not quite as much as season 1, but in saying that, like, it's still really bloody good. Like my only real complaints was, like I said, in the finale, the fact that it wasn't action packed and everything honestly didn't worry me because I liked the character stuff we were getting. I just think, yeah, a little bit too self indulgent from Gunn, and some things, the build up wasn't quite worth the payoff in the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. Oh, it's also worth calling out that the dude from like the Pentagon, also from Superman, showed up. with
Yeah.
the salvation. So that was, nice little nod. But yeah, overall, pretty much agreed. We saw the same season. I thought it was a really good season of TV. It was really fun to watch and really fun to continue on from Superman over the summer. And it'll be interesting to see how it proceeds next and what we will get next, whether, this is woven into something like Supergirl or Lanterns, or if we have to wait until Man of Tomorrow.
Yeah. Let's see.
We shall see. All right. Peacemaker season 2 now on HBO Max. Absolutely worth 8 episodes of watching. It's a lot of fun. It's great. Not perfect, but really, really good. So yeah, we really enjoyed it. Hope you guys did too. Last episode, we talked about hot takes. And when we ended, we're like, we're out of time and we got more. And instead of me trying to save them for 6 months or wait until Jamie is in the mood to come back to podcast, which he's really not. He's enjoying his hiatus too much, which I get. Like not having
pickleball's not going to play itself.
Apparently not. I was like, well, then let's just try to get these out and discuss them because people really enjoyed that episode. And frankly, I really enjoyed that episode.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. So here we go. Let's check out some more Batman hot takes, part 2. Can we call it Hot Takes Returns? All right, let's see. Speaking of, the Batman Returns toys are slowly arriving, and I'm very excited about it.
I have them on my Christmas list, and I have it in good authority to not buy any. So
that's why I told you not to buy any.
Like,
no, so they're all on their way except for Max Shrek. I was not able to order Max Shrek anywhere.
Okay.
And so that's the one that I'm searching for. He's apparently out in stores, just not in Florida, not where I live, because I have not seen any of them in stores. Everything else is arriving via mail, but Max, I cannot find. He's on eBay, but they're still asking a little too much for him at this point on eBay. I'm like, I think I can wait. I'll find them.
I know, like, because Jess is organizing them for me. But yeah, like, I can't remember if it was Penguin or Mac. Like, there was one that she's like, yeah, they're gonna have trouble getting it, and like the Penguin Commandos are one. I'm like, oh, I don't need them. That's okay. But yeah,
I thought you were a fan. That's weird.
No, if I have to choose, I'm not gonna. I'd rather have the character. I can do without the Penguin Commandos. Shelf space is a premium. So, but yeah, I can't remember if it might have been Max, but yeah. Anyway, there was a story. There was a story that they couldn't get all of them, but then I think maybe it was just the Penguin Commandos that they couldn't get in the end. So, yeah.
All right.
Hey, we'll wait and see in 2 months because it's Christmas in 2 months from today. Just so you know.
No.
Yep.
Not ready. Anyway, yeah. So I'm on search for Max Shrek, but I have the Duck already. I've got the Penguin already, and I think that the Commandos.
Did you get 2 penguins? Does the Duck come with the Penguin as well?
Yes.
Is he in there, or can he come out? So you have 2 of him.
No, he can come out.
Okay.
Yeah. So the one in the Duck is like. I don't know a better way to say it. It's like the dirty pajamas version.
Oh, yep.
Where it's just like that weird onesie.
Yes.
And then the other one is the
mayoral look.
Right. The mayor, the hat and everything. So yes, you get 2. It's funny that Returns they've gone the hardest on, which is pretty awesome. Anyway, so yeah, that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about some more hot takes. This one is from Ross Egan, and he gives us a lot. So like the other ones we talked about, we'll do them one at a time. Yep. So he says, I like the DC Rebirth era Batsuit redesign with the yellow outlining the bat emblem and the purple on the inside of the cape. And I was disappointed when they switched it back to the original. It's not my favorite, Ross, but you know what? I like it. I don't hate it. And so, yeah, if you dig it, I get it.
Yeah, I could have. I mean, I get the purple's like a bit of a throwback to first appearance and stuff like that, but I could have done without the purple, but the rest of it I thought was fine. But I didn't care that much about it.
Yeah, I agree. It's like I don't have a strong enough opinion about it. I thought it was okay, but I certainly don't miss it. It's fine. Um, well, yeah, I would call this maybe a mild take.
Yeah, very mild, I think.
Yeah. All right, next one. Jean Paul Valley slash Azrael is an awesome underrated character in the Bat Family pantheon, and it sucks that current DC has forgotten about him. Thoughts?
Um, it's been a while since I've read that. But I remember, it kind of gets to the point where he turns into a dick, and by that stage, I was just kind of over it. But it is funny that he's kind of forgotten, I guess.
Yeah, it is weird that he has kind of disappeared.
But yeah, I mean, I don't miss him, so
Same. I'm sort of indifferent. Like if he was still around, I think that would be fine, but I don't really miss
just be
him
another
either.
member of the Bat family for you.
Yeah, Lord knows we need another one. It's not big enough. Like there's only 24 of them. We need 25, damn it. So I could take him or leave him honestly, but I feel like he was around for a very specific reason, and that was to take Batman's place during Nightfall. And once he served that purpose, he kind of faded into the background.
Yeah, no, I agree.
How hot would you call that take?
I'd go mild again.
Yeah, maybe medium because I don't know how many people are clamoring for the return of Jean Paul Valley, but yeah. Next one, Jason Todd Red Hood should have stayed a straight up villain and antagonist to Batman like in Under the Red Hood instead of making amends with him and being watered down to an edgy anti hero.
um, yeah, I can see that. I mean, we talked about that in the last episode. We're both of the opinion of like he probably should have stayed dead, but we both also really like the Under the Red Hood story. So, um, yeah, I actually can probably agree with that because that'd be one less member of the Bat family for you as well. So,
Yeah, great. I don't strongly disagree, other than I'd rather him be dead than even a villain. But yeah, I think that's fair enough. How hot is that?
it feels like another mild one to me, but
Yeah, I think it's pretty mild, honestly. This one I think is relatively hot. Stephanie Brown is the best Batgirl.
yeah, no, I can't get on board with that one.
I can't, but that is a true hot take because I don't know how many people would say that. It might be the first time I've ever seen anyone say that.
Yeah, yeah, I reckon that one's well. Yeah, I'd say that's like it's not Selena Kyle, Michelle Pfeiffer hot, but
It's hot.
it's hot. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's hot. I think it's the first time I've heard it. Um, I can't stand Damian Wayne and wish his entire existence would be retconned. Dick and Tim are Bruce's true sons.
I think that is a very cold take. Because I think I could be wrong, but you're talking to two people here that would absolutely 100% agree with you there.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's part of my disdain for Grant Morrison is because of Damien. Like we're left with that little shit stain from Morrison's run, and it's just like, just go away. Just bring back Tim, please.
I know. Well, but I swear I remember Grant Morrison saying Damien was only invented to kill him because I've got the issue where they kill him. And then at that point, the fans were like, no, bring him back. And so now he's freaking around all.
Mm.
But no, yeah, I think I would still call it a mild take, even because I think that there are a lot of fans who agree, but I think there are still some fans who, the Damien fans who want him around.
Eric.
Yeah. And then finally, I am more excited for Matt Reeves as the Batman Part 2 than the Brave and the Bold.
That's a spicy meatball. That one. Yeah, I couldn't agree.
I cannot
Couldn't
agree
agree less.
either.
Yeah.
But I would call it a medium take because I think that it's probably half and half as far
Yeah.
as fans agreeing or disagreeing with that. I think that half the fans would agree, the other half would disagree.
Yeah. That's probably true. For me personally, it's a hot one though.
Well, sure, yeah. All right, let's move forward. Next one is from Chris J. Knowles. It says the Clock King was a top tier BTAS character. I needed a couple more appearances from him. Ooh.
Yeah, look, that's getting a bit hot.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say he's a top tier. Like, I mean, obviously he is to him personally, but he was fine. But he's just one of those, was he in more than one episode? I can't remember.
that's a great question.
Like, we
I
obviously
want to
remember like
say,
the Clock King episode, but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm just trying to think maybe if in like season 4 he popped up in a random thing.
Maybe
But
a cameo or something. But yeah, I mean, you
yeah,
might be right. It might just be the one episode.
yeah, I he seems again, it's like a very specific villain, and you've kind of got a good story in there, and you don't need to push for more. I don't think.
Yeah, so I would call this a hot take, but I respect it. Like I haven't seen a lot of people go to bat for the Clock King in Batman the Animated Series, but I see where Chris is coming from because that, in my opinion, is the best version of the Clock King, and the way they wrote him was the most interesting way to write that character.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
yeah, like so I agree that I would call him certainly underrated in the Batman animated series pantheon. And yeah, it would have been interesting to see him return more. So I think it is a hot take, but I think it's a hot take that I could get on board with.
Yep, agreed.
All right, this next one is from Jim Bailey. I think it's all the same. It says the hand-to-hand fight scenes in the Nolan films are pathetic. They're clunky, slow, and amateurish, and are to a huge detriment of otherwise very good movies. Apart from The Dark Knight Rises, which is not a very good movie in any regard. Batman kicking ass is as much part of the lore as any other aspect of the character. If comic book movie makers actually don't set out to bring a comic book to life, then Nolan completely failed in this regard.
Right.
I would call that a hot take.
I'd call that a hot take.
I would call that hot. It's a hot. It's funny. It's a hot take because of the of how strongly Jim feels about it.
Yeah.
I think you will get most fans go, yeah, the fights aren't the best part of it. But to call them pathetic and the movie's a failure because it's failed to capture that aspect of Batman, I think that's very hot.
Yeah, that's getting Catwoman level, that one.
Yeah, it's pretty hot. But I said, I think we talked about The Dark Knight and Batman Begins recently. I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
both. And I'm like, yeah, the fights are okay. Some are good, some are not so great. Like I feel like but they're never the best part of those movies. So I do get where Jim is coming from. I don't think they're bad enough to call them pathetic.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that one.
But Jim, I will say that like yeah, Batman being able to kick ass, yes, is still important. I can get on board of that part of your take here because yes, he should be able to kick ass. He's freaking Batman. So yeah, I'm with you on that part. I just think that maybe as far as the Dark Knight trilogy, this feels pretty damning, and I can't entirely get on board with that much.
Yeah.
But I respect the hot take, Jim. So thank you for going for it. All right. Next one here is from Mark Hall. It says the Snyderverse Batman's failure wasn't because he was controversial. It wasn't because he was too deep. It wasn't because that he was depressing, and it wasn't an interesting or adult take on Batman. It wasn't that he killed people. It was just that the films he was in were kind of boring outside of the sweet warehouse scene.
Look, I can see why people would think that. It goes back to what you and I have said heaps of times in this show is like, as much as we like Batman versus Superman, that should never have been the first meeting of those two characters on the big screen.
Yeah.
And I honestly think it just comes back to that. To be honest, I think that's what the issue is there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I totally see where Mark is coming from. It's not even that I would call the movies boring, but they were not the movies that people wanted, and they were movies that didn't resonate with a huge chunk of the audience. And so, because of that, Affleck's Batman was wrapped up in all that.
Mm-hmm.
When BVS came out and a lot of people didn't like it, even those people were like, but Ben was a good Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like he was given something of a pass after BVS. But yeah, like the perception of that version of Batman couldn't entirely be divorced from the reception to those movies.
Yeah. Justice League's what really hurt Ben's Batman, his
Well,
legacy, I
yeah,
think.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, and then when Joss pushed it the completely other direction in Justice League, it was too much. Where people were like, "What the hell is this?" You know, and
Mm.
there was probably a happy medium, which is ironically pretty well done in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yep,
Is
agree.
a pretty nice in between. But you know, by the time that movie came out, it was too late.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Mark, I think it's I'd call it a medium take, but I totally understand like the rationale where you're coming from is like, you know, I think that people certainly had some complaints about some of the things he did, but in the context of BVS, that's sort of the point.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So, all right, cool. Next one from Ron Messbarger. He's going the other direction. His hot take is that Damian is the best Robin.
Okay. Well, there's a podcast called The Fire Rises that he can go and listen to. You got to talk that kind of bullshit.
Listen, we asked for hot takes. It's fine. But the best. Yeah, this one I think is certainly is flirting with Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman
It is.
because even Damien fans, I don't know too many of them that call him the best Robin, but that is funny. I mean, but it does go to show that like how divisive Damien is as a character. Is you have half the fans who are like, I wish he was never invented. I wish he would die. I wish he would stay dead. And the other half is like, he's the best Robin. He's the most interesting. I'm so glad he's around. Blah blah blah. So like, yeah, like I feel like a fandom is split on Damien, and Ron's representing the half that loves him.
Yeah. Oh, well. Thanks for listening.
It's all right. So yeah, I think that's at least a hot take, Ron.
Yeah, I agree with that one. In terms of being a hot take, yeah.
Yeah. Next one is from Rashid Hatter. It says, "I wish Ben was cast in Batman Begins over Christian Bale."
Huh. Um. Yeah, I'm having trouble seeing it, but I don't dislike it. I would have, I think, yeah, back to what we were saying like 1 or 2 questions ago. Ben just got a raw deal. I still, you know, I feel weird saying he's my favorite live action Batman because, Keaton and, Bale, to a degree and everything, but he's definitely the most comic accurate we've ever had. Like, I don't think anyone can argue that point. He's ripped from the pages. He looks like Bruce from the animated series. Like, he's got the best bat costume of all of them ever. Yeah, I bet he still would have been in the Dark Knight Rises, but yeah, that would be interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, I would call it a hot take, but I also think it's like an intriguing hot take.
Mm.
Like where it's like, listen, I feel like it's hot because I feel like most Batman fans still think Christian Bale was a great Batman. So I think that's the part that I think is hot, where it's like, oh, do we really want to erase Christian Bale's legacy with the character? I don't think so. At least I wouldn't.
No.
But if we were to go back in time before we had ever seen Christian Bale as Batman and Ben Affleck was cast in Begins, you know what? I think it could have been very good.
Mm.
But the other part of that is you would also have to remove Daredevil.
Daredevil, yes.
Because Daredevil was 2003. It was only
It's
2
only
years
2
before
years. Yep.
Begins. So Ben would have to have not done Daredevil, and then he could have been in Begins, and then I think it would have been good, but you couldn't have done both. He couldn't have done Batman right after Daredevil.
No.
Also,
I agree.
I'm the world's biggest defender of the Daredevil movie, so you know what? Come for me.
That's I loved that movie when it came out.
That's my hot take. I love that movie. I still love that movie. There you go. There's your Christian Bale hot take. Daredevil's a great movie. Sorry about it. But anyway, yeah. So I think this is an intriguing hot take, but a hot take nonetheless. And yeah, I think that at that time, had Daredevil not happened, yes, Ben could have been a good Batman in Begins.
Yeah. Yep. Take away the baggage of Daredevil, and you would have been onto something.
Yep. All right. The next one is Matthew Petz, I think. He says Batman Forever is a better movie than Batman 89.
You're probably going to expect me to defend that one. Look, I don't think I can say it's a better movie. Yeah, look, I think that's a very hot take.
I think that is certainly teetering on Michelle Pfeiffer hot take.
Look, yeah, it's not a better movie. I guess in some ways, you could look at it as it's a more fun movie or whatever. But I've talked myself hoarse on this podcast about that movie. But it's one of my favorites because of the nostalgia factor. The nostalgia for me is far too strong on that movie. To not love. I love that movie with all my heart. Taking that out of it, it's not a better movie. Like 89 is much better, a better made film. Yeah. So I mean, I as much as the love I have for that movie, I can't come with you on that one.
Right. Yeah, I think this is pretty darn hot. Maybe Michelle Pfeiffer, obviously I don't agree. Even for people who like Batman Forever, very few would say it's better than Batman.
Well, I mean, I'm the absolute demographic for that.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, it's a hot take, but yeah, obviously can't go with you on it, Matthew, but bless. All right, next one is from Christopher Higgins. It says Batman Beyond is great and deserves a full-length movie. So wait, here's the thing. Directed at us, it's a hot take. I think directed to the greater Batman fandom, it's not a hot take. I think that this is a pretty cold take because in general, Batman fans really like Batman Beyond.
Yeah, I wasn't even gonna say to you and me. I was gonna say to me, it's a hot take because you liked big.
I like him more than you.
You liked a lot more than I did, but yeah, it's probably going to happen one day. I don't know.
I think it will. I think it is inevitable. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah. And look, I'll be there opening day because it's a new Batman movie, but yeah, it's just not to my taste.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. Again, I like it more than you. I think I like it more than Jamie too, honestly. But I'm still not like a huge dyed-in-the-wool Batman Beyond fan. But I appreciate its place in Batman lore, and I would definitely go see a movie. But again, I think that it's pretty well regarded in fandom, and so I think this is a pretty mild take because I think a lot of people have been clamoring for a Batman Beyond movie.
Oh, I mean, Christ, over 20 years, it's been, there was talk of it before Batman Begins, Yeah. No, I'm good.
All right, moving on. The next one is from our pal Julian Chan. It says, as an experienced graphic designer and art director, I actually prefer the aesthetic of the new Batman Adventures over Batman the Animated Series.
I remember reading this one.
It says it speaks to me as a designer. Well, Julian, we love you. I'm going to call this Michelle Pfeiffer hot because I think you're the first person I've heard ever say they liked the aesthetic of New Batman Adventures better.
Look, I agree with you, Andy, but I also respect Julian as an artist because he and I have just collaborated on something that's very, very important to me. So I'm not about to badmouth my illustrator.
You don't have to badmouth him. I'm not badmouthing him.
I can't come with him on that one, unfortunately. But
yeah, I mean, obviously, whoever did the redesigns are with you, Julian. They thought so too. I will give you this much. There are a couple little tweaks that I was like, "Oh, okay, I can dig that." Like Poison Ivy comes to mind. Like I thought like the sleeker green Poison Ivy from the new Batman Adventures I actually thought was pretty cool, and I thought that was a slight upgrade from Batman the Animated Series. But there were just too many that I thought were severe downgrades. But yeah, I respect your opinion. Knowing your talent but I still say it's a hot take because I think that again, I don't know anyone else who said that they like the redesigns better.
The one that loses, to me, where the whole thing falls apart is it's just like, how can you make a Joker and not give him a red smile?
Right. Yeah.
It just blows my mind.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
No, yeah, I agree. All right. Next one is from Thomas Richard, and he's got 3 here. Number 1, Robin does not make Batman campy. The creators do. Nightfall, Hush, Death in the Family, Dark Victory, Dark Knight Returns all featured a Robin, and those stories aren't campy at all. Well, Thomas, I will 100% agree with that take because, I've been saying that for years. Like I think that people were like, "Oh, Robin, so cheesy. We don't like Robin." I'm like, oh, "Come on. He's been part of Batman's lore only 1 year less than Batman himself. He is absolutely integral to the Batman myth, and yeah, he can be used campily, but he can be used earnestly and well in 1,000 stories. So I'm with you.
Have I missed something? Because I've never equated Robin to being, the reason why Batman can be considered camp.
I think that it's the 60s show.
But that's exactly right. Like, but Robin wasn't the camp part of that show. The whole friggin' thing was camp. Yeah. I've never ever felt that Robin was the reason for the camp. Yeah, like the creators and the writers who did that show made it camp. That was the whole point. But yeah, I've never laid the blame on Robin for that. So yeah, that's a new one to me.
No, I think there are Batman fans who don't like him with a Robin because they think that somehow makes it a little too goofy.
Yeah,
I've seen that take plenty of times.
I have seen that, but just the whole that Robin automatically makes it camp. I've never heard or even thought of that for a minute.
Yeah. So this is a take I completely agree with. I'd call it medium.
Yeah, medium.
Yep. Number 2, sorry, Jamie, but I think The Dark Knight Returns is overrated. It's a good story, but there are better stories, and people need to stop using it as a template for Batman movies. All right. Here's the thing. I agree with half this take, which is stop using it for the template for Batman movies. Completely agreed. I can't say it's overrated because I do think it is truly an amazing story. I think it's a great story, but because of it being such a great story, yes, it has gotten overused to the point of exhaustion where it's like we need to let it be and just move on for a bit. So, yeah, I think Dark Knight Returns being overrated is a hot take. I think stop using it for movies is not necessarily a hot take. That's more of a cold one.
I'm going to say something here. I don't know if it'll get me in trouble or not.
No, I think I know what you're about to say, but you only have to worry about Jamie, and he is twice your size.
Twice, Jesus, like 6 or 7.
It'd be like if Bane was fighting little tiny
baby doll.
Yeah.
I used to think it was overrated, and then I saw the movies, the animated movies, and that made me go, "Oh, this is actually really good." I don't know. I find the comic hard to read. I just don't think it's the easiest comic in the world to read, and it's it is what it is. To me, it's very dirty looking, and but those 2 movies made me sort of go, just get a complete new appreciation for it.
That's fair.
So I don't think it's overrated as a story, because look, I can look. It's on my shelf, and I do still read it every couple of years, but I don't. Yeah, this is the part that I thought might get me in trouble. Like, I don't love the comic, but I do love the story. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I get that. All right, and then finally, his last take. It says the Joker sadly has become overused. The movies need to spotlight villains that we haven't seen before, like the Mad Hatter. Um, hmm.
You know
You
what?
know, yeah. Go ahead.
I am going to agree, but with a little, asterisk at the end of it. I agree that he is overused because, in the last almost 20 years, we've had four? Is it four Jokers? Ledger, Leto, Phoenix, and to a lesser extent, Barry. I do think the character is overused, but I don't think any of those versions, as good as some of them are, and as terrible as some of them are, um, we've still never had Joker. Like, we've never
Mm.
had Nicholson had shades of the comic book Joker there, but we've never ever had the proper comic book version of the Joker on the big screen. The closest we've ever had is Cesar Romero.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I actually agree with you. Yeah, it's so funny because has he been overused? Yes. Like we we haven't had a break from Joker in years. You think about the break between Batman 89 and The Dark Knight, it was 19 years. So we had a chance
Mm-hmm.
to be like to get excited about a new Joker. But then starting with Leto, man, Joker has not freaking gone away. And in my opinion, like I think you just said this, like between Leto and Phoenix and Keown and Gotham, the TV show. Like we've had so many Jokers in that short amount of time, and I haven't loved a single one of them.
No.
Um,
They all try
so it's
and
like
put their own spin on it. It's just like, no, just give me the fucking Joker from the comics.
right, and so it's like,
Please.
yeah, like let first of all give us a little bit of a breather, and then come back with a Joker we haven't seen before. To your point, a Joker that's just the Joker. Stop overthinking the Joker. It's not that hard. So yeah, it's funny because I love the Joker. I do want more Joker, but not if it's going to keep being these bizarre, weird, elseworlds, screwed up versions of them.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think a break would actually be good for the Joker. And yeah, let's lean into some other characters. You call out the Mad Hatter. I like the Mad Hatter. There's certainly other characters I'd be excited to see as well. But yeah, Batman has an amazing rogues gallery, and as much as I love the Joker, and I do, um, yeah, I think it's okay to shift the focus to some of these others.
Mm-hmm. 100% agree.
And so as far as that, I would call this a pretty mild take because I think that I don't know. I think it's hard to say no. He hasn't been overused.
Mm. Yeah,
you know,
agree.
in my opinion. Um, all right, and then the last one here. This was the last one from the Facebook post. This one came from Jonathan Samuel. It says Batman Forever is the second best film of the first four from 89 to 97.
Uh, Again, if we're talking quality of movie, uh, you know what? I'm actually going to agree with that. Like, I don't hate Batman Returns, but um, to me, Returns was it was a step down in quality from 89. And I think we've said, it might have even been on the last episode, or actually, no, it was on the Conjuring episode. Yeah, like just the way it was shot, the whole shot in an inkwell thing, but it's like, no, it was shot on a soundstage, and it's so friggin' obvious it was shot on a soundstage. Like, yeah, I'll agree with that.
I thought you might. It's funny. Some of these hot takes just feel like hot takes at Andy. So a lot of them feel just pointed at me because they know how much I don't like Batman Forever. But I don't think that's a particularly hot take because Batman Returns is very half and half. I think half the people love it, half the people don't like it, and so for the half that don't like Returns, they would probably all agree that they like Forevermore. I've seen that take a lot
Mm.
over the years of most people agree that Batman 89 is the best of those four. And then depending on your tastes, it seems like you'll either pick Returns or Forever. Obviously, I'm Team Returns.
Mhm.
It's a very different movie than 89, but I still love it on its own terms. And it took me some time to get there, but yeah, I do love it. I still think it's a better made and more consistent movie than Forever. Forever is just a mess. But like I also get the fun factor and the nostalgia and all that too of what they did intentionally to move away from what Returns was. So I think it's a pretty mild take in Batman fandom because I do think that, half the fans probably would agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
So there you go. That was all the hot takes from the Facebook post, which is good. So at least we're caught up on those.
Okay.
But I know it's getting late there, my friend.
Yeah, I'm starting to
You starting to
dip.
fade? Starting
Yeah.
to fade? That's okay.
It's just gone past midnight, so it's Sunday now.
Yeah, well, happy Sunday,
Thank you.
Well, you know what? There's plenty in the Wayne Manor mailbox, but we'll just save those for next time. Some of them are still hot takes. Some of them are other just random emails, thoughts, questions,
I
all types
imagine
of
it's
stuff.
probably filling up a bit too, so we might have to do a mailbox episode in the near future.
It's full, but not like insane full the way we've had
Yeah.
it in the past. So, but yes,
Not
there's
like a new
plenty to
movie's
share.
just come out full.
Right, exactly. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and leave the mailbox for next time because I think that we got a lot done today, Brendan, and I feel really good about this.
Same. I
So,
was
and
happy to
now
be a part of it.
I'm awake and now you're asleep.
Yeah, pretty much.
We flipped from the beginning. Awesome. Well, this was really fun. And again, big thank you to everybody who shared their hot takes with us. Whether we agree or not are beside the point. That's the whole point. That is the point, is that they're hot takes, right? So like some we go, yeah, totally. And some we go, can't go with you on that. But
If we
that's
didn't
your
call this episode those things hot takes, we could have called it menus at restaurants.
Yeah, that's also true. So anyway, I'm glad we got those done. And again, I really do appreciate everybody who put theirs out there because they're fun to discuss and they're fun to see again, regardless of whether or not we agree. So appreciate that. But let's wrap it up. Brendan, I'm glad you stayed up late. Thanks so much.
No
What
worries.
else you been up to? Anything else you've been talking about on a microphone? Maybe scary movies somewhere.
Yeah, I was on the Real Fans Proper podcast this time a week ago with our good friends from the Fire Risers, Eric and Joe, and we discussed at great length and ranked the films in the Conjuring universe.
It was a lot of fun. It's
It was
a
a
bit of a
lot of
long
fun.
one, but it
Yeah,
was fun.
it was really, really good because I really like those the the last few Halloweens how you've picked a franchise and ranked them and stuff, and it was like several months ago I said to you, I'm like, hey, you should do The Conjuring this year, and if you do, can I be on it? But also because the new movie will be out, so it was all the timing worked out really well, and a nice round 10 movies, and I had a blast talking about it. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was a blast. So yeah, for anybody out there, if you don't follow the Real Fans Show and you want to hear us talk about all 10 films in the Conjuring universe, me, Brendan, Eric, and Joe, go check out Real Fans for Real Movies. It's the latest episode. It was just released a couple days ago. And again, there's been a lot of other fun spooky content. Me and Preston got around to doing the spooky cereal episode. The Halloween commercial episode's already out, and then the Halloween special will be coming out this coming week, just in time for Halloween. So
Awesome.
yeah, I'm really excited that I was able to get all of those out this year because all of them were touch and go.
No, yeah, so that was a lot of fun last week, so check that out. And otherwise I'm just on Facebook in the Real Fans groups and on Letterboxd watching a lot of scary movies.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Starting to get to the pointy end. I watched Halloween just before we recorded.
Oh wow. I know we're now that we are in Halloween week, now it's like, oh, now I gotta focus on like the staples, the favorites. I'd been dipping into some new stuff and again, a lot of kid friendly stuff because of Harley, but now it's like, oh, now I got to get into some Halloween movies and Trick or Treat and just the ones that I can't miss every year.
Yeah, so I watched the original tonight in the next day or so because I got a really cool Blu-ray of Halloween 2 during the year, which I haven't opened. I've been waiting for scary season, so I think I'll be doing my Halloween 2 H2O trilogy, and then watching Halloween 2018 in the next couple of days, as well as a few other little things here and there.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think I'll get through them all, so you kind of have to pick and choose. Obviously, I always do the original, and then I tend to jump around. My favorites: 1, 4, H2O, 2018.
Yeah, I do
uh,
like the 1-2 H2O trilogy. I really like that Choose Your Own
I
Adventure.
I do too. I think that is the strongest trilogy.
Yeah.
I just am not as in love with 2 as everyone else, which is, 2 always feels a little homeworky to me. But
I don't love it, but yeah, I mean, look, it's certainly better than some of the other sequels out there.
oh, yes, I will agree with that. Anyway, yeah, like we're watching all the scary stuff. Check out our letterbox. I already told you where to find mine, and you can find Brendan's. And we're in the middle of Scarathon for another week or so. So yeah, enjoy this last week of spooky season, everyone, because then it is time for turkeys and cranberries and cornucopias.
We'll see. Well, for
Not.
people in America, it is.
Yes, yes, it is.
The rest of the world pretty much jumps. And I will say too, I hinted at it before. I'm not going to plug it now because I am letting Halloween have its moment. But I have collaborated with Julian Chan on something, and in a future episode, I'll give that a plug.
All right. Great. Well, there we go. Thank you guys for joining us. It's good to be back. We do appreciate you streaming or downloading the show. Please do follow or subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Something else you can do if you like us, you can just rate and review us. A 5-star review would be awesome. It really helps us out and it makes me feel good. So that would be great. Find the show as always on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast. If you've got something for the Wayne Manor mailbox, just keep on filling it up. I don't mind. You can send that to Holy BatCast at rf4rm.
It's less homework for the next episode.
There you go. Yeah, you fill it up enough, that'll just be the next episode, and then we don't have to do anything else.
We'll review an episode of the Batman. Why the hell not?
Oh yeah, that. I forgot about that. There's literally one listener out there who'd be like, "Hey guys, the Batman. You guys gonna get back to that?" Our theme music was created by the talented Gaurav Venkateswar. You can find his work at gvtunes.com. And that'll do it. On behalf of Brendan, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. Holy BatCast is not affiliated with Warner Brothers or DC Entertainment. The views and opinions shared by the participants are theirs and theirs alone and do not represent the companies or organizations they happen to work for.
Good night, everyone.
All right, let me tuck you in, kiss you on the forehead, say your little prayers.
Yeah, if only you could.
I'm on my way.